Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about what is Terraform, how does it work, why should you use Terraform. I will also demonstrate how you could install Terraform on Mac, Linux, and Windows operating system. First thing, what is Terraform? Terraform is an infrastructure as code tool that allows you to create and manage your infrastructure using code. The code is declared in a single or multiple configuration files. Those files can be versioned using Git, reused, shared, similar to how you manage your application code. In case you're wondering what is infrastructure as code, please check out my other video where I covered this topic. Now we know what is Terraform. Let's see how does it work. Terraform uses HashiCorp configuration language HCL to define infrastructure, where you specify the end state of the infrastructure. Terraform figures out how to get to it. It uses declarative approach. We will look more into it when we talk about Terraform advantages and features. Using that config file, you could manage resources on pretty much all major providers or services using their API. So Terraform would have its configuration file, then it would interact with the provider using their API and create the resources there. In case you're wondering what is a provider, any cloud platform or services where we will create our resources are known as providers. Terraform has extensive documentation available on how you configure those providers and create resources for those respective providers. We will explore more when we will create resources in our upcoming videos. So once you have the code written, Terraform follows this three-step process. The first is initialization. Wherever your Terraform configuration files are sitting, you run this command terraform init and it would initialize your directory. Initializing essentially download the necessary plugins that Terraform needs to talk to a particular provider. Also creates all the necessary folders that Terraform requires. Once you have Terraform initialized or the directory initialized, you could run terraform plan command. This command would generate an execution plan showing what changes will take place when you apply this code to a particular provider environment. It kind of highlights whatever the resources will be created, modified, and even the ones that will be deleted. Once you have plan reviewed, you could run terraform apply command, which essentially execute your changes as you specified in your configuration file. This will delete, create, modify the resources as you specified in your configuration file. I just want to point out one thing, that you don't have to run terraform plan for terraform apply to work. It's just a recommended step for you to do it. You don't want to create the resources before knowing what is going to be created. Terraform plan just allows you to get the understanding of what is going to be created, where Terraform apply will just create the resources and you'll know later on that what has been created and what has been deleted. So you don't need to run it, Terraform plan, but it is highly recommended that you do it before you do Terraform apply. So this is kind of the overview of Terraform's workflow. You have configuration file, Terraform talks to provider, and then you run three-step workflow to create the resources. Now let's talk about Terraform's features and advantages. The first one I'm going to talk about describing the end state of your resources. With Terraform, you write simple configuration files where you describe how should your infrastructure should look like. You might say, no, you need 3 servers, a database, and network. You don't need to provide step-by-step instructions needed to create those resources. Unlike in traditional methods where you would have to specify each step for the server or database or the network that you may be creating, with Terraform, you don't need to provide all those detailed instructions. Terraform automate tons of changes for you in the background. As I mentioned before, like when you're describing your desired state, you don't need to specify step-by-step instructions. Terraform makes a resource graph showing what needs to be done and in what order. It then works on multiple tasks at the same time if they don't depend on each other, which kind of makes the setup process faster and smoother. If you are setting up like servers and creating storage accounts, that could happen independently, and Terraform will do them in parallel to save time. Terraform also figures out from the resource graph if particular resources depend on each other. You could have a scenario when you are creating network and servers. Terraform would create a network before it creates servers because it knows that the server is going to use the network. And Terraform automate all of it in the background. You don't see it, and that's one of the reasons that makes Terraform a great tool. You may be wondering, how does Terraform know what kind of resources it is creating? Terraform creates that state file in working directory. You could store that state file locally or remotely. We will look more into it in upcoming videos. But to understand what state file is basically a tracker for Terraform to know what resources it has created and their configuration. It also kind of keeps things organized. When you change your infrastructure, Terraform updates the state file so it kind of stays up to date. This is a source of truth for Terraform. State file is the most accurate record of what's in your infrastructure. State file is the one that is gonna keep track of all the resources that have been created. So it is very important. We're gonna know more about it, how you manage it. You don't want to delete your state file whenever you're working with Terraform. Like I said, this is the source of truth. This is what kind of keeping track of your infrastructure. Terraform also offers us to create modules for your infrastructure. A module in Terraform terms is like a building block for your infrastructure. Imagine you're building a house. Instead of building everything from scratch, you use pre-made parts like walls, roofs, and doors. Like similarly in Terraform, a module is a reusable piece of code that you can use to create a part of your infrastructure. We will explore more when we will talk about modules and create them. But for now, just remember that these are like a reusable piece of code that you could use to create your infrastructure. Now let's install Terraform on our operating system. First, you just have to go to developer-hashicorp.com, install Terraform install. And this is where you could find the packages available for all operating systems. Now we're going to start with Windows. We're gonna download this one. Okay, the binary's been downloaded, so I'm gonna go to the folder where it is located. Download it in a zip, so I'm gonna extract the files out of it. It's not necessary, but I just prefer to do it. So now the file's been extracted, so I'm gonna move this, since it's just a binary, so we're gonna move this to the program files, go to the C drive. I'm gonna do the program files and create a folder here called Terraform. It's easier to recognize it and put the binary in here. So now we have added the binary, so this is not gonna work if I just try to run Terraform in my command line. So I would have to add this path to my environment variable so that whenever I run Terraform in my command line, it would work just fine. So going to the environment variable, system properties, collect environment variable, and you're going to select the user variable. So and click new and just paste the path here. Click OK. Okay, here now we're going to open the CMD to see if the Terraform has been installed successfully or not. Okay, to test it, I could just run Terraform, and if it's successfully installed, it's gonna give me all the options that I should use with Terraform. That, you know, if I have to use Terraform, I have to apply the options with Terraform. And if I want to check the version, I would just do Terraform-V, and it's gonna display the version for my Terraform installed on my machine. So this is with Windows. I do have a Red Hat machine, so this is what we're gonna install our Terraform on. So just go to the same page, go to the Linux section, and I'm gonna copy the installation commands. Just click copy on this one, and now I'm gonna go to my terminal, And all I have to do here is just paste the commands that I've copied from the page and hit enter and let the package manager do its thing. And it shouldn't take too long. You would have like Terraform installed within like 30 seconds. Okay, there you go. So Terraform has been installed, so all I have to do is just run the Terraform version and it'll give me the version that is installed on this machine. And if I just do the Terraform, just the generic command, it's gonna give me all the options that are available with the Terraform. So this is how you set it up on the Red Hat system. If you're looking to install Terraform on Debian, all you have to do is just switch to Debian and copy the commands from here and paste it in your terminal. As long as you have internet connection, it should map the repository and install the package for you. Let's set it up on Mac. So for the Mac, you could use a package manager, Brew. If you don't know what Brew is, check out my other video. But the Brew is just tapping the repository, adding a new repository, and then installing the Terraform. This is super quick as well, just like Linux. All right, here it is. The downloading is completed, and now we're gonna test if Terraform has installed successfully or not. Just clear the terminal, just do Terraform, and it should give me all the options. And there you go. Now I have all the options to use, like how should I use Terraform, and if I want to check the version, use Terraform V and it'll tell me the version that is installed on my operating system. If you don't have Brew set it up, you could download one of the binaries as applicable for your system and then run it that way. I did have Brew set it up, so it was easier for me, but you could also download the binary. Okay, so this is it with the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video and share it with your friends who would benefit from this one. Thank you.